Going live. Let's see here. Are we there yet? All right.
Live.
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the Fix This Build That Sunday night live show. I am Brad.
And I'm Susan.
And we are Fix This Build That. So this is the first time we're doing live on the main channel. We've been doing a live show actually for 4 years. I've been doing it for 4 years.
I haven't been.
Mainly on Instagram, but we've recently come over to YouTube. And we've been doing it on a second channel, but what we want to do is try this out on the main channel and see how it goes. So welcome to everybody who has, for the first time, joining us. Again, I do most of the videos on Fix This Build That, and this is my wife Susan, and we're excited to talk to you guys and hang out. So we're going to spend about an hour just answering some questions. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. We will get to them as we go. We are going to answer some of the questions from our patrons first. So we do have a patron site, which is where our supporters go and they can ask questions, and we are going to be answering some of those here in just a minute. If you are interested in that, you can go check that out. We actually have YouTube memberships coming soon.
That's right.
Which is like a YouTube version of Patreon.
Right.
But, there's lots of cool rewards you can get with that. Free plans, discounts for beer. No, not discounts for beer.
That'd be
One
awesome.
of the things we do like to do is have a beer.
Yes.
So
Sunday night.
And
Cheers.
unfortunately, cheers.
Yeah.
Taylor and everybody else, Susan is not drinking the hazy IPA.
I decided to switch it up. You were talking about membership benefits to YouTube.
I was.
Did you cover that?
I was.
Yeah.
No,
I
mean,
just interrupted with my
She
beer
did.
opening.
She did, but it's all
Sorry.
good. So yeah, membership benefits on Patreon and coming soon memberships. You can get free plans. You can get discounts on merch. You can get live questions answered, like some of these people here. You can get shout outs. I'm starting to do credits in the back of videos, which is super cool. And it's just a cool way to get more content. And you get early releases and behind the scenes of all the projects. So if you're interested in that, hit that down there for them.
Okay.
Babe. It's at patreon.com/fixthisbuildthat, or you can wait for the membership thing, but don't wait. Who wants to wait? So, that being said, you're not typing?
Oh, not. Goodness.
I mean, you are typing, it's just not coming up.
Yes.
So, that being said, we did want to answer a question, which we do at the top of the show, is answer a question from patrons, and it comes in. We had a question from Matt Powell. I don't know if Matt on yet.
I don't know. I haven't. Let's see it.
Oh, yeah. Super chat. This is another cool thing. Big
To the
Willie's
beer
Garage
fund. I love
for the
it.
beer fund.
Thanks.
Thank you. $1.99.
Yeah.
That will cover at least one of these.
Maybe one. Yeah. This is fancy beer.
It is fancy beer. It's not Bud Light anymore.
No, not yet. That's later in the night. We drink the good stuff first.
The good stuff in the morning.
Right,
Thank you,
in
Big
the
Willie's
morning.
Garage. In the morning, yeah, whatever.
No.
So I did have a question from Matt Powell, and Matt asked us, what are my thoughts on hanging cabinets with French cleats? Seen many people hanging cabinets in their houses with French cleats, and he thinks it would be easier if he moves one day. I think French cleats are an awesome system. If you're not familiar with what French cleats are, it is basically, I'm looking around for, I always need.
We need visuals.
I need visuals. All right, so these are two clamping blocks, and these are actually both 10 degrees. I use these on the modern desk. If you've not seen that video, check it out.
Yep, check it out.
And you probably can't see because it's such a light angle. But what happens is you've got one that's back cut this way, one that's back cut that way. If you imagine it would be 45, it would be like this. And this one would go against the wall, so it leaves this opening right here to the side behind it. And then you drop the other one down behind it, and it locks in. And when you have them at a 45-degree angle, it makes a much tighter lock than obviously this would. But it's a great system because it relies on gravity. And so you literally put it on there, let it go, and then the weight holds it in place. And so what that means is you can change it super easily. Like, you don't have to take any screws out. You screw the one cleat to the back of the cabinet, and possibly two cleats, and then you screw other cleats to the wall, and you put them on. And so it's a great system. And yeah, I think it's a great system for if you want to change, if you feel like you're going to be changing things around and frequently. If you're just worried about like taking them with you one day, like, you can always unscrew cabinets. Your biggest concern is going to be writing that in the contract for the people that buy your house because they're going to see them and be like, oh, we include that. So if you just say, hey, cabinets aren't included, we want to take them with us, I wouldn't worry about it, moving them once in 5 years. I would worry about it if you're going to be moving them, every couple months, or if you're just starting the shop and you're growing and you're going to be adding a lot more. Having them on French cleats is a great idea. What it's really good for is also small tools. So if you have a lot of little hangers, so if you have a whole French cleat wall system and you have a lot of little hangers for things like drills and saws, clamps, whatever, then you can reorganize that stuff And as your tool collection grows, or as you feel like you need to do something different, you can move it that way.
Adjustable, yeah.
So
that's great.
All right. Well, what do we have happening over here in the chat? Are you hammering down?
I am. I'm kind of
right.
reviewing. It's a lot more than I'm used to.
Sphinx FPV. There he is.
Yeah,
that's
made it
Matt
back
in
2 weeks
disguise.
in a row. It's Matt in a disguise.
Wait, I mean, it's not. It says Sphinx FPV instead of Matt. So.
Right.
Fred McIntyre, what's up, my man?
Yeah.
Glad to see you, buddy.
Jack's here. Blake's here. Marcus.
Blaine. All right.
Nice to meet you, Susan. You too, Brad. Nice to meet you, Marcus.
Marcus. All right. We got Rick in the house.
Fred's here.
Oh, that's fantastic. Sean Guthrie came on over.
Rick
Awesome.
is here. Lots of people.
I know. It is a nice
Come
new
on
format.
over. Taylor's
Sean.
here.
T-Hub. Oh yeah,
Susan's
we were
gonna hop
chatting.
in here with the hazy little IPA. Not
No,
this week.
so
It's
typically
getting too predictable.
Susan's been hitting the hazy little IPA, hazy little thing IPA.
I had to go to like the real beer store to get
the
stuff.
Rheingeist. So
yeah.
this is, if you've never had Rheingeist, this is
so
from
good.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And where is it? Is it downtown?
It's downtown.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
They have
Well, it's
a lot
over
of,
the Rhine.
Yes, they have a lot of breweries in downtown, or in the downtown area in Cincinnati, and this is one of our favorites. And we were super excited because a couple of years ago, you could start getting it in Nashville, which before we couldn't. So we'd have to stock up whenever we went home.
They were in Cincinnati. Susan grew up just north of Cincinnati.
Yep.
And we lived there. I moved up there. I was up there for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I served a dime in Cincinnati.
Served a dime.
And
it's a good place to be. So
I
you don't have to
love
serve
Cincinnati.
time there.
I do love Cincinnati.
No, it was
except
great.
for the weather. But now we're back here.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah,
we're back.
We back. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Fred McIntyre leading the crowd.
All right,
I love that.
love
Planning
it.
any new shop helpers, Chris Kelly. If you mean kids, I'm going to say no.
Or dogs, yes.
We are thinking
possibly
about
getting a dog, but
we are thinking
it'll
about
be a
getting
while.
dog.
Yeah.
All
we
right.
built anything that your wife didn't really care for, Michael Booth.
What was that?
Have you ever built anything that I didn't really care for? That's like putting me on the spot. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Susan, let's hear it.
No, I love everything you've ever made.
Oh,
no,
wait,
I mean,
hold on,
I think I've liked it all. He usually runs things not like to get approval.
We usually design them together.
You usually get feedback
She's like, he
from
usually
me.
runs things by me.
I mean,
first of all,
I'm not the one
a
building
few
them.
other
I'm
things.
not complaining.
A few other housekeeping things.
Oh yeah, take care of those things.
I want to give a huge shout out to Mark Spagnolo and Nicole Spagnolo, who are the Wood Whisperer team, husband and wife team there. And that, they were the inspiration for us starting to do the live together.
That's right.
They have the woodworking morning show now. It used to be called Wood Whisperer Live, and Mark's a friend of mine. And so anyway, they're a big inspiration for us to do this. So a huge shout out. I'm sure you're probably already following him and know of the Wood Whisperer, but if you don't, I'm like extremely excited for you because you've got a ton of content to binge. So go check them out. I wanted to throw that out there. But the other thing is the new video. So we just launched a video yesterday on making mitered splines. So doing spline joints in your miters, and that was an outcropping from the modern desk video I did, which used that same thing. And this is the little box that I used. And this was, is this showing up? We're on the delay here, but it's all good. I'm sure, I'm sure it is.
I think it would be.
So I put little walnut
you know in
splines
about
up
2
here
minutes.
in the top.
Ooh. Sorry, there was a mosquito. Oh,
Hey, we've got mics right here. You're like, don't be clapping in the mics.
it was going to get me. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Continue. Life in the garage.
Thanks, Mark.
Continuing on.
Walnut splines in Baltic birch, two of my favorite, my absolute favorite, my favorite plywood and my favorite hardwood. And the video shows, I made this for the video just as an example. And I also use the modern desk as an example of how to do mitered splines. So 4 steps to do mitered splines, or to have better, easier, stronger miter joints is what I called it. So go check that video out. And if you've not seen the modern desk, please go check that one out too if you're interested in building a desk, because
it's a good one.
So many people are working from home right now. All right, what do we have going on down here?
Okay, so I'm kind of trying to get caught up, but oh gosh, I just got rid of things.
Don't
do that. Don't do what I just did. More things I shouldn't be doing. We've got some questions, but do we have questions that we need to answer first, or no? No questions.
I already did that while you weren't listening.
Sorry, I was scrolling.
But that's okay.
I'm hitting my mic. I'm all kinds of crazy right now. There have been lots of questions. I'm just kind of
Jeremy
looking
Spees, what's up, my man? Yeah.
Yep.
Would if I could. Thank you so much. Loving the channel. James Rice Photo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see who else we got. How much is Baltic birch plywood? Manny.
It's a great question.
A lot.
think it depends on where you are too, right?
It does.
To a
For us, it's
degree.
about $62. Charles
not
Massey,
cheap,
what is up? For
But
a
it
4x8.
looks so nice.
Not because you can also buy it's mainstream. You typically get it 5x5, 5 foot by 5 foot. So
Yeah.
Cole from Australia, what is up, man?
Robert.
YouTube Live, Tim Dudek, absolutely.
Yep, we're here. Chris Flores says he wants to say hi. Loves your builds. They're some of the cleanest of all the makers I watch, while still being relatable to everyone who doesn't have a giant shop. Yeah.
That's right. I know. Well,
I mean, you would like to have a giant shop,
I
but
would.
we don't have the space for it.
I would.
So
but I
yeah.
Robert Perez,
Yeah.
a motorized makeup vanity for your wife.
Wow.
That
I'm
sounds-
sorry. I need to know
Does it, like,
more.
put- does it
a
put the
motorized
makeup-
vanity.
Does it put the makeup on for her?
That'd be awesome. Like
That would be.
it would be a time saver.
That would be an epic.
I think
YouTube
it would
video.
be.
I feel like that's something Mark Rober would do.
I do think that would
Like
be true.
motorized
Yeah, he
self
would-
makeup.
Or like he'd
putting
get behind.
on-
Isn't he does all the sciencey stuff
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the slow mo. Oh yeah,
Yes.
he could make that fun. But yeah, no, that's cool. It sounds very interesting.
That would be fantastic.
Oh yeah. My goodness.
Trey Collier from Tennessee, what is up? Love
Hey,
it, love
Trey.
it. Baltic Birch 55 in CA, I love it.
And then
yeah, tomorrow's Memorial Day, so
it
thank you
is.
so
Did anybody
much.
else lose track of the fact that tomorrow's Memorial Day?
And,
It
with
just,
all this COVID
like,
stuff, it's been.
This morning I was like, oh yeah, tomorrow's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We have no plans.
Yeah.
We'll probably grill out or something.
Nate Broadleaf, they are showing up. We can see your chats. Rolf Stein
Yes.
from Chattanooga, what's up?
Yeah.
And my mom is in the house. Henry
Your mom's in the
Rodriguez,
house.
I love it. Oh, and we
Ooh.
got a super chat coming in. We'll hit that in just a
Nice.
second. Michelle, thank you.
Thank you. This is so different.
It is. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Character Red's here. So excited to
Thank
see.
you, and no pressure about doing super chats, anything. If you do the super chats, obviously we're gonna come up there
Sorry.
and answer those.
Character Red just landed his first sponsor for a video.
Nice, Character Red, congrats on that.
That's awesome.
So we're gonna scroll down here and look at Michelle.
Yes, Michelle.
How do you get glassy smooth finish
Yeah.
on cabinets and furniture? What
That's
kind
a great
of plywood do you
question.
recommend? Michelle, so for plywood, it depends upon what you're trying to do. I love Baltic birch plywood for shop furniture, and that's because it's super stable. And this is Baltic birch right
This
here.
is a great. It's like new.
I don't know, it's like a
This
little
question was
itty bitty
coming.
cabinet. So if you look,
It's a teeny tiny cabinet.
if you look at it, it's got 13 plies. It's there are different ones between 11 and 15 plies typically. It's always an odd number, and because that way the veneer runs the same way on the outside and the face. And it is super stable. Very few voids as compared to like a normal ply that might be a 5-sheet ply and have a poplar core, which is something you would get at like Home Depot. And it is basic. What I tell people is like it's basically like using solid birch, and it's as heavy as that too. So a couple of good things about that, and one bad thing. One bad thing is just the weight. It's hard.
It is heavy.
A full thing is like
Oh my gosh. Well, you have that
crazy
mover
heavy.
thing, which is
I got a new panel cart from Woodcraft, which
panel
is
cart.
so
I
nice.
mean, because that was always like your least favorite thing was just getting
It was.
the wood out of the back of the truck, and it's
It
not like it
was.
has to go far, but it's so heavy.
But it is awesome.
Yeah, that's
I used it
awesome.
in the
Well
modern
worth it.
desk video, so if you want to see how that works, you can go check that out there.
Yeah.
But it also holds joinery very well,
Gosh.
and it holds screws, and if you want to do any other type of joinery in it, like finger joints, it would hold it very well. So that's what I recommend for shop type stuff. If you're doing something to build to paint, I typically just use a sanded ply. I mean, if it's just going to be like furniture, like a something that's not going to get a lot of use and abuse, as far as like the sides of an end table. If you're doing an enclosed end table with drawers, I'll probably just use the sanded ply from Depot. Susan's just over here laughing.
No, I'm laughing. Never mind, I'll tell you.
Yeah. And
People are making jokes about a spammer. It was kind of funny.
oh.
We've got the best people on here.
I don't know if y'all can
Yeah.
report, but please, if you can report comments and you see people being weird, just report them.
Let us know. It's
Let
our
us know.
first time with
I ranted,
this.
by the way, I didn't tell you about that on
No.
Instagram. I'm
No,
going to
you
get back to
did.
your other question, Michelle, in a second.
Yes, we
I
will.
ranted about about
What?
spammers on Instagram.
Oh,
So,
on
yeah.
Instagram
Yeah, I was
spammers?
like, go report that. Like somebody stole our content. And,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's never good.
No. So
very
and
frustrating.
then so Michelle, the other thing, how to get a super smooth finish. I would it depends upon what you're doing, and it depends upon the gloss and the sheen you want. There's lots of different methods out there, but if you want to build a nice shiny finish, what typically it is less less at a time, and just build multiple coats and sand very lightly with like 400 grit, 320 grit in between. And so that's going to knock it down. You're basically going to be filling gaps, So you'd go over, and polyurethane's the easiest to use. I really like General Finishes Armor Seal, and I typically thin that on my final coats, but I'll do it maybe 1-to-1 or 1-to-1 with mineral spirits, and then maybe even 1-to-4, 4 parts mineral spirits, or no, sorry, it's a 25% mix, so 3-to-1, 3 parts mineral spirits, 1 part polyurethane, because what happens is that mineral spirits will flash off real fast and it'll dry, and it'll help prevent the pooling and the dust getting in the finish, because that's what messes up your finish most of the time, is like, all this dust if you don't have a very clean setup. So light coats, sand in between, make sure you remove all the dust in between. So when you sand, after that, use a tack cloth. Your hands are actually great. So after you've done it, if you wipe your hands, like the oils in your hands will grab a lot of that dust. Try that, and I think you'll have good success. Another great tip for everybody out there, and I've used this for a long time, ever since I read it in a magazine like a decade ago, is brown paper bag. When you get done with your finish, if it feels a little nibbly, dust nibs, nibbly, is that okay?
I don't even know. I wasn't listening, but okay. I don't think so.
Nibbly.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the
B,
paper
not P.
thingy?
Yes.
Yeah. Continue. Listen, I'm doing this.
Hit it with that, and it's basically like a
wait a minute.
like a 3,000 grit sandpaper, and that'll knock the dust nibs down and not affect your sheen.
What about the whole? Maybe you just said this. I was doing this. When you do the cutting board and you spray the water to raise
the grain.
But
well,
is that you wouldn't do that for this because you're doing a whole
finish.
different. Gotcha.
Yep.
But that is cool too.
Yep.
Yeah. So awesome. We have another super fan thingy-majiggy super chat. Yep. Offcut Addict. That's a great name. That's Matt. I can see that.
Offcut Addict Matt Powell.
New channel.
Is that a new Matt Powell?
I don't know. How many Matt Powells are?
Wait a minute. I'm confused now. New channel. New shop, so French cleats for you.
Nice.
I wonder if that's if that's his other channel, and so we signed anything.
New channel. Brad and Susan, BNS. I don't know. Is that
new channel, BNS. I got you. Yes, this is. Yes,
we're figuring it out.
This is not a new channel.
French cleats are so.
It's an old channel.
Right. It's just kind of a new situation on the old channel.
New situation.
No, yeah, like the French cleats have always been really good. You had French cleats at our old place too, didn't you? Did you? In the house in Ohio? Maybe not?
No.
It's like you've had French cleats a long time. Because they're very, especially because Brad's always like, I've said this every so often, Brad will say, Susan, come, dream with me. And we go out into the shop and I'm like.
I actually use that as exactly.
I mean, he doesn't say it like that.
No, I do.
It's more, well.
When I like want to be funny.
That is true. Usually I get a thing of water or some things. I know maybe some snacks because I know I'll be out here for a while. And then we stand out here.
Come sit in the shop and stare around at
it.
And
come
and
look at
dream.
Every tiny little bit of space we have in this area and figure out how we can redesign it to be more efficient. So, it's one of my favorite. To be fair, you have changed it a lot over the years, and it is really efficient.
We've got a lot of stuff in here.
We do.
We have a lot of stuff still yet to go. So one of the things that I've been talking about it for a while now, but I'm going to be doubling this cabinet section back here. So I'm basically going to be replicating this exact set again over here, and moving this bandsaw and moving the wood storage up and over. And I'm pretty excited about that because I need more storage for like small stuff like that. Or, like not super small stuff, but like biggie small stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh gosh, biggie small stuff.
Yes. What do we have?
It's lots of questions. Like this is kind of the latest and whatever.
It can't be last. First.
Right. I know. I need to scroll back. I got to scroll back. You already answered Matt, and Matt did comment that it is the same Matt. Just so there's no confusion.
There you go. All right, Matt. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for the super chat as well.
Yeah. Thanks. So we got Michelle. Let's look around up here.
Adrian Herbert. What is up, Adrian? Yo, Adrian. Adrian is a Patreon member.
Yeah.
Patreon member, and we appreciate and support that. As well as T-Hub is one, and Matt and all these guys. That's why we know these folks, because we get to carry on other conversations with them over on the Patreon site as well.
So we hear about what's going on with them.
What are some of the first tool purchases for somebody starting out? Zach Watson. I always recommend the first tool, and I have actually we put them in there, the fixthisbuild.com/beginner, because I get this question so often. I did write a blog post. Actually, Susan wrote it. But
/beginner, is that what it is?
yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Beginner. I think that works.
And
we wrote.
Right, that is a common. It's a good
We
question.
wrote,
That's why we get it so
the tools
often.
Is like
Right.
a
Where
drill driver set.
Right.
I shouldn't do that either. Like clapping next to this is not good.
Yes.
Drill driver set, circular saw, some clamps,
Definitely
like just
clamps.
squeeze clamps. Good tape measure. That'll get you started in like a pocket hole jig. That'll get you started off to the races. Add in a miter saw. That'd be my next one. And then from there, that's when you can really start scaling up to the bigger tools, like a table saw. So I would definitely have a circular saw, miter saw, drill driver combo, and possibly, maybe a jigsaw if you want to do some curves, stuff like that. Those are all fairly inexpensive tools before you jump into like a table saw when you're talking multiple hundreds of dollars. I don't really recommend benchtop table saws.
You don't really.
Those are more so. I'm more forgiving on those versus
I'm sorry,
versus joiners.
Okay.
Benchtop.
I know you have like a strong dislike for one.
I have a strong dislike for benchtop joiners and benchtop
I've heard
band
about
saws.
this many times.
Benchtop drill presses are great. I still have one.
Yeah, he's got one.
And you get them in different sizes.
I mean, the idea
router
of having
tables,
a
perfect.
full-
Planer, I still have one. They're perfect. But yeah, do not get a benchtop joiner or bandsaw if you're asking my advice. That's all I got to say about that.
Cool. All right. So Ralph says hi from Mexico. Would you like to say something?
Hola, mi hombre.
You were doing, what was it, Duolingo last night? Just like a whole. He's like on. I don't even know what level of Duolingo with Spanish now.
Man, I'm getting close to a year.
I know.
I'm 250.
It was like a
days
whole conversation between this old man and this boy, and I'm trying to sort of decipher some of it. He needed a bigger house.
It was
it was crazy. It's a lot.
It's mi espacio.
Brad is learning.
Was the lesson.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yo tengo espacio muy grande. That's all I need for my espacio up in here. Need a bigger space.
I know, right? Well, speaking of which, Chad Williams says, your shop is giant compared to my garage, which I have to share with 2 cars.
Oh, yeah. Chad, sorry about that.
That's how a lot of people start out then. You kind of take over. Like, I would recommend, Chad, I don't know if you're married, but if you are, maybe start building some great things that your wife wants.
And then
your
kick her
partner
out.
Or whatever. And then that is a great incentive to give up a parking space. That's pretty much what this guy did to me. Because when we moved in here 7 years ago, I parked in the garage for like the first 6 months. And
she
then,
did. I have pictures.
Yeah.
We should have.
The van was right in the middle. And the side,
And my table saw used to be right here.
Oh, that's right.
I've always
Back
had.
in the day.
So I used to have. If you're a long time viewer, then you would know this.
Yes.
Or if you're a long time viewer with a really great memory, that I used to have these gray cabinets here, and then I had my table saw right here. And I don't even know. I didn't have that when I first started making YouTube videos. I already had the saw stop, and it was over there.
Yeah.
But I used to have a Delta contractor saw.
I forgot. I mean, I know
and
that.
It was right here. It was literally right here. And I couldn't cut anything over 6 feet because it would hit the thing behind me, and it was not even on a mobile base.
It was not perfect, but it was. You still built things, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, I was like, I'll park out in the driveway.
Right. Was that when I bought the saw?
I believe I was promised a remote start on my vehicle.
She was.
Which has never happened. But I did get a new vehicle. I mean, it still doesn't have one though, because
I think we moved you out when I bought the cabinet saw.
I don't know. Probably.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Sorry. Go ahead.
Hippie.io wants to know, would you recommend using Gumroad?
Yes.
Yeah, we use it.
I use it.
I
like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. If you're just beginning, it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's easy to use, right?
Yes.
And it's good.
Simone Gertz, Bad Robots. He's talking about the desk. Simone Gertz would be Gertz would be the perfect person to make the self makeup appliance. I'm surprised she hasn't. Actually, she may have already done that. I think she has already done that. All right, we're catching up on comments here.
Yeah, we're scrolling.
We're scrolling.
Josh from the UK, I think, said hi.
We got a lot of folks saying hi here. Let's see. PF Woodworking, Raul, Dennis Mako. I almost said PF Woodworking again.
Oh, Escambia Woodworking
Cyber Reef Guru
wants to know how the kids' workbench is holding up.
Oh, cool.
It's good.
It's holding up
great.
very well.
It is mostly a holder for play food.
For food.
Like our daughter has a pretend kitchen and way too much pretend food, and so there's never any tools.
It's like a short order.
It's just it's her work surface for everything, but it does a great job for that.
It does,
and it looks nice.
But it's definitely.
But
been
it's held up really well.
It's holding up really well.
PF Wood Turning says hello from Maine. Maine sounds nice.
I love this. Phase Light from St. Pete. What's up?
Yeah.
David Ford, Hidden Creator. Awesome. Yoon from GA. Mm-hmm. Ozzy watching the race. What race? NASCAR? Is it NASCAR?
Oh yeah. Remember
Joshua Bauer. What's up, my man?
It's like the only thing going on right now.
It is. Worth Effort. What's up, man? Worth Effort in the house.
Yeah.
I love it. Blaine Bonvillian. What's the best thing? What's the best type? Oh, hold on. Burke Bolin. Percussion. What's the best type of wood to make cutting boards?
Burke was here last week, I believe.
Burke, if you go, I have a whole thing on that too.
Cutting boards.
I've been making content for long enough now that I can just start. I'm like, hey, go, and I've set up the links even to make it really easy. Go to fixthisbuildthat.com/cutting board.
I can put that on here.
Or you can also type how to make a cutting board into Google, and I will come up on the first page.
Not that we're proud of that or anything. But...
Not that I'm, because I'm such a cutting board expert.
Let's build that cutting board. I know, I see it.
There's like a
I
mat
want
that
to
is
smack
just,
it.
I know.
Cutting board or cutting boards?
Cutting board. Cutting board.
Done.
Yeah.
It's on there.
And it talk about, but my favorites are walnut, cherry, maple. Are the holy trinity of cutting boards, as I like to call them.
Yes. Okay, Blaine has a great question because it relates to vinyl laminate flooring, which we know.
Phase Light. It absolutely would, by the way.
Oh.
What's the best type of? I just said that
best
again.
Thing to get splattered paint off of vinyl laminate flooring. We have not had this issue, thankfully.
Well,
right?
It depends upon how long it's been there.
Yes.
If you're.
As with any stain.
Yeah.
Why are you giving me that look? You just looked at me like, yeah, like I just made a big stain on something. I mean, that's different. That's totally different.
A cabinet. We have a slop sink
Whatever.
in the garage.
I'm painting things.
Susan
I'm working
is
hard.
The painter of the family.
The painter.
She's actually not.
I'm slower than him. I'm very precise.
I've painted a lot of. I used to
have
own
rental
rentals,
properties. Yeah.
And
so he painted a lot.
I had the rentals would flip almost every year. It seemed like. And I would paint every room every year. And I had 4 rentals, which they had 4 to 7 rooms per rental. And so I painted each of those every year.
The early years of our marriage, I just remember I was teaching and he was working as an engineer. And we would get off work and go back to whatever rental property and just be painting hallways until midnight with the music pumping, and oh my gosh, that was all we ever did. It seemed like. That's not true.
To answer the question,
but I made a mess over there.
Yeah, that was. We're very good at tangential talking.
We have stories that relate to each other, so there you go.
We do.
We've been married 15 years this summer. Lots of stories. Yeah,
we have
15. You had to think about it.
No, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
True.
If it's been on the floor or on the vinyl plank for less than a day, you can more than in a couple days maybe, depending. But also, this might seem counterintuitive, but the more paint that you spill, the better actually, because then the stuff on top is going to be drying faster than what's there. So if it's like a blob, it'll be easier to remove. But I would try lacquer thinner or acetone. I would try it in a inconspicuous spot of the floor first to make sure it's not going to eat it up.
Yeah.
Acetone is super, super strong. So
it's aggressive.
Don't just start throwing acetone around, and wear protective gear and all that good stuff on your hands, which it'll eat through nitrile gloves, by the way. So maybe start with lacquer thinner or paint thinner. Oh yeah, acetone's nasty stuff.
That's the stuff that they have in
fingernail polish remover.
And if you get the stuff that doesn't have the acetone in it, you'll be like taking 20 minutes to get it off.
Exactly. So that's
it's so much more effective.
Right. So try the acetone. If it's past that point, then you can try chipping it off. But if you have any texture in there, you're in trouble.
You might be in trouble. Yeah. All right, we have what is this called again?
Super chat.
Super chat from Rev.
From Rev Diaghi.
Diaghi, yeah.
Not Diaghi. We're just.
I don't know.
This is a family channel. You can't be like. What if somebody was called like?
I don't know. I just read it.
Sir.
Sorry. Let's not go there. Let's just let our brains go there. All right. So love your channel. I have learned so much from you and hope to build several of your projects soon. Please keep the great videos coming.
Rev, thank you
for your
so much.
support.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the super
That's
chat.
awesome.
And I hope
for
you
the nice
enjoy the
words.
plans. We do have a lot of plans out there, and tremendous plans. I mean, the most.
Sorry.
The most plans. People have spoken to me.
Brad Rodriguez.
They say I know more about plans than most people, which I do.
Let's
Sorry,
move on.
I felt like I did. That's not a political statement.
He's just trying to be funny.
There's this guy on TikTok that he does. I don't know who he is, but he's hilarious. He's like a stand-up comedian. He does sketch comedy, and he does Obama and Trump talking to each other. And he's like an impersonator. He does a really great job. And he's.
You haven't shown me this.
Yeah, I have showed you it several times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well,
you have to show me again.
But anyway, yes.
So that's where you got that from?
Thank you.
Yeah. So PF Wood Turning
I appreciate that.
has a question for you.
Best tip for growing a YouTube channel.
That is a great question.
Wood Turning.
Yes. PF.
So, I mean, yeah, it's like I'm like, okay, what's the one nugget?
Growing a YouTube channel.
Here,
if you could boil it down to
I mean that's very easy.
Maybe two.
It's very easy. It's
put out videos.
Go follow Tim Schmoyer and Daryl Eves. Those are because there's so much. Like that is such a loaded question. Those two guys have more information on grow. And the nice thing is that they come at it from different angles. So Daryl Eves is DERR.
Hang on.
AL.
DERREL, right?
AL, sorry.
It's different.
Daryl.
Is that right?
Yes. EVES.
EVES, because I've seen his email.
And Tim Schmoyer. They don't make it easy to spell their names.
No.
We had actually Tim Schmoyer. So the other thing I would say.
That's not right.
SHMOYER. Schmoyer.
Okay. Like that?
We had Tim Schmoyer on Made for Profit.
It's close to that.
On I think episode 122, I believe it was.
Yes, that was a good one. They're
all
good.
Listen to that.
Really, really good.
I would say go listen to that.
Yes.
Because he talks about branding. Mm-hmm. He talks about how to approach your audience. And that Tim's more about audience building. Tim is about like finding your audience, niching down into like what, so like don't just make a bunch of random stuff and like follow the hot trends. And then Daryl on the other end is on like, he follows the numbers. So he's very analytically driven, which I love. So if you take both of them and combine them together and take the good stuff from each of them, super powerful. But that being said, I will give my stance on it is do what you love. Do what is something that you can be consistent with. So if you're trying to do something just because you think it'll work, but you're not really into it, that's not going to be long term. So do something that you love. That like when it's wood turning, if that's your gig, and then figure out how do you figure out what works, and then look at your analytics. So find whatever works, double down on that. And that's like shop furniture for me works really well. I've doubled down on that. Different things. Oh. So when I find something that works, I double down on it.
13,000 at 2 years in.
That's great, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Good.
I think
you're doing something right.
That's probably awesome. Where I was, PF. What will happen to you eventually is that you'll have something pop off. There'll be an inflection point somewhere. You'll grind and grind and grind and grind, and there'll be an inflection point, and you'll hit a bump, and you might come back down. But that's where my advice would say is when you find that one that hits, look at it.
And that's like what Daryl talks about, right? Well, they both do. And then Tim has the whole idea about like you have
awesome,
3 different types of audiences.
13,000. Congrats on that.
Yeah,
that's a big accomplishment.
That's impressive. Yeah, awesome. Great questions.
Good question.
Keep
them
coming. I know I'm kind of scrolling through to try to figure out. I've already got the super chats in here, but we need to look at there's no more super chats right now.
No, there was.
What's this?
It just came up.
Oh, really?
No.
No, that was it.
Oh.
It's tricky like that.
I missed it. Oh, maybe that was that one. Sorry.
By the way, for anyone who was with us last week when we talked about watching old movies, like old being like 90s, early 2000s. Well, what is that called? The first decade of the 2000s? What would you call that? Just 2000?
The aughts.
The aughts. We've been on a kick with lots of great recommendations, and we watched The Bourne Identity last night.
The Bourne Identity last night.
So good. And then what did we watch the night before that?
What did we watch the night before?
Something else that was good. I don't remember. It was that good.
No, it was SEAL Team 6.
Oh yeah, that wasn't that old. It was just good, right? It was kind of old. Anyway, whatever.
2012.
So thank you for all of your recommendations. Kind of got us
Yes.
going. So it was good. Yeah. So Mike is here from Black Lake, Ohio. I do not know where that is.
I do not either.
And let's see.
Blue
I'm good
Dragon
at this.
from Montreal. What's up?
Yeah. Hey.
Joshua Bauer. Thank you, my man.
So nice.
Singing the praises.
Yep.
The
My daughter
Cedar
and I
Planer
made.
box.
Oh, cool.
Oh, dude, that's fantastic.
Oh.
Ryan, awesome, man.
He made it for
Mother's Day.
Ryan said that he and his daughter made the cedar planter box for his wife for Mother's Day. That is wonderful.
That's awesome. I've seen a lot
It's
of
a
the
great
cedar
idea.
planters getting made right now. Obviously, I guess we're in the back end of planting season. I mean, all through the summer, I guess.
Well,
can
now
plant
you would
different
actually
things.
like plant for gardens probably.
Okay.
Because you want to get past the first frost.
I have no idea.
I just
We
know
don't
that
know.
every time there was a frost, we have flowers outside. I was out there like covering them with
putting
sheets
the blankets
and
over 'em, the
everything.
sheets.
They're looking amazing though. It's the
They
best
are.
we've ever done.
They're looking.
So yeah,
They're looking legit.
We look
there were
like
a
we
couple.
actually
We
have
had
a
we had a
green
couple casualties.
we did, but that kind of comes with every round of flowers for
Yeah.
me. I don't know.
I was gonna make a bad
Whatever.
joke. I won't do that.
Let's move on from that.
Moving on.
They look good. That's all that matters.
Yep. What type of engineer was I? Says Kays. I was, and I am, because I don't think they revoked my
No.
license.
It's like you're an Eagle
I
Scout.
never
remember when
had my PE.
we were dating, I said, "Oh, you were an Eagle Scout," and he
I
said,
said no.
I
am
am
an Eagle
Scout. All the Eagle
I've always
Scouts
been an
can
Eagle
comment
Scout
now.
and
Like
an
evidently
engineer
that's a
and all
thing.
that. But mechanical engineering was my undergrad,
That's right.
and then I did go on to get a master's in business as well, which I think is a fantastic 1-2 combo. Which it doesn't. Thank you. It doesn't seem like mine. Like being a mechanical engineer and have a master's in business. You should go be a YouTuber, but
But you have a
but
really
it does really
strong
help
business
because the
background.
business
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
to make all the other stuff on the back end profitable and talking with sponsors and all these other things, and then the mechanical engineering for making and making in general, having the mindset, and then being able to do plans and things like that and build and whatevs. That's what I say, whatevs.
Yeah. I believe we have
University of Tennessee, Knoxville, class of 2000.
That's right.
University
Representing.
of Cincinnati, class of 2012.
Man, you were going
12?
deep.
10.
I don't know. The babies were little. That's all I know.
10.
You were like traveling
2000.
for work and doing study groups for
What
that.
time was Macy born yet?
Yes.
Okay,
She was
then
at the
2000.
graduation.
I started 2010, graduated in 2012.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Going back to the whole getting the paint off the flooring, Nate from Broadleaf Design says olive oil will take stain off of any non-porous surface. So, fun fact. We did not know that. I didn't know that. So, great. Josh Bauer, so nice. What a great couple. Very supportive of each other. Happy 15 years.
Oh,
We were pretty
Josh.
supportive of each
Thank
other.
you.
And thank you. Thank you. Brad, how long have you been woodworking? Were you naturally good at it from the start? Jones.
Jones.
I
You're
mean-
assuming I'm naturally good at it now,
You're meticulous,
which is
You
not
are
a good
like-
thing sometimes.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is a double.
But you think things through very well, typically, usually.
Yes,
you
which
know?
slows me down.
It does.
a lot.
He's not like
But-
let's just throw some things together
No,
kind of person. Like he
I'm
wants
not.
to
I wish
have
I
it be
was
very
at
efficient.
times.
I know, but I think there
But
are upsides.
I overanalyze everything in all of life
I mean,
most of the time. But it's
that's why you married me, because you were like, she's the best one.
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. you came to the top of the spreadsheet.
I did.
there.
I know. You probably had a spreadsheet too. We've made a spreadsheet for like almost every major life change, like
You did.
moving and buying a house. I
You
mean, who doesn't love a good spreadsheet? But I would love to see the spreadsheet for you deciding
No.
whether or not to propose to me.
No spreadsheet.
Carry on. Sorry. So, were you naturally a good woodworker? Was the original question.
No.
You were always interested in it.
I think it's. I think woodworking. There are a few people I've met a few people who, but I don't know, because like to me it's like the practice makes perfect type thing, or practice just brings skill, and woodworking is a huge one like that because you're just like you don't know what the heck you're doing and
Right.
you're like making stuff. I think of Jory Brigham, who
He's amazing.
he is.
I mean, you're great too, but I remember
I
showed you.
yeah.
You showed me that thing that he made. What was the thing that you were at last year and he was there?
Oh
and
gosh, yeah, the carved. It was a
it
woodcraft
was
trade show.
crazy.
And so I was there. I was hanging out with Jory at the Woodcraft Trade Show. Me and John Malecki and Jory were there. And
he's like an artist.
He is an artist.
Yeah.
And the way he just, like, so, like, to me, that's, like, he's creative and he can think in curve. Like, he can just see something and then, like, carve it out.
I mean, that's so cool.
I think this is how I think. I think in straight
very
lines.
Linear.
I'm a very linear thinker. I'm not going to shortchange myself. I used to a lot, but I won't. I'm creative in other ways.
Yes.
I'm creative in like how to put things together.
You're very efficient.
And be efficient.
Which is great.
But I'm not creative in a organic design type of thing.
You're gonna like outsmart your way into it.
Right. So
maybe
like
take longer.
right. The stuff I'm creative about is doing stuff like this. But
you creatively whoa! What was that? Clamps falling on the ground. That's how many clamps this man has. Hand me that. Creatively hand me that drink over there.
Creatively hand you.
Thank you.
So, yes. Anyway, but so no, I was not. I was not.
So what you're saying is like anybody could be good at woodworking.
So anybody
right?
can be good at woodworking.
Absolutely,
100%.
it's like a learned skill and lots of practice and doing new things. Yeah. So Blaine had to hop off, or no, I'm sorry, Burke Boland had to hop off.
77 megapixel. He's suffering from KTT.
I saw that. Yeah, I mean,
over.
especially this would be the time that you would start struggling. Our kids are like in and out of here getting stuff out all the time.
They are.
And they're, these poor kids. Tyler was like wrestling his bike out earlier because they have like this tiny little spot. I mean, it's a small spot in the shop.
But
because
I've got them. But I do.
But they're pretty good.
I've got them hemmed in. So I've got them like fortified by like woodworking tools in front and on the side. So like they physically can't spread past that. That's how I attack.
Right. That is put parameters up. Yeah. Awesome Arizona says expect your shop to evolve over time. That is true. Absolutely. Yeah. Paint removal. You could use Goof Off for plastic, or you could use bug spray. Bug spray. Interesting. I'm learning so much. What should I use to wash my shop slop sink? Got a lot of black stain in it.
I tell you what.
I don't know.
What I've used and worked really well was
I have no idea.
Was a magic eraser.
Oh, those things are pretty amazing. Like they get a lot of stuff off.
They're made of magic.
I know. I mean, it makes me wonder. And who came up with it? You know,
I have hand cancer from like holding a magic eraser.
About that. Yeah. Edgar Lopez is here from Oklahoma City. Hey, Edgar.
Miguel Rodriguez.
Unshelled peanuts are the best shop snack. Fight me on this. We don't have a lot of unshelled anything like that around our house because our daughter is
peanuts because our daughter
really allergic to peanuts, unfortunately, and he's allergic to all other nuts. So nuts are kind of bad.
Yes. Miguel bought the flip top and now working on the miter saw, dude.
That's awesome.
Love it, dude.
That's a 1-2 punch right there for shop organization. Joshua Bauer doing a little. Brad Rodriguez, what a guy. I paid him to do all these things.
I know. Well, we're way behind.
He's been so complimentary. We need to, why don't you scroll through?
Nick Nimmons, I've heard of him. Jeff Ostroff. That's awesome, dude. 70K, that's fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome.
Apart from using edge banding, how can I see all the edges of MDF?
Oh.
Cavish.
MDF. I'm just thinking, I know what it is. I'm
What
visualizing the edge of it. Something density fiberboard?
I just said medium, and then you're
medium density fiberboard. I mean, you filled it.
I thought you were gonna miss the second two parts. You're like something density fiberboard.
I mean, I don't know.
That was awesome.
Well, you said what does it stand for? So I was like, medium must not be right. But yeah, you don't use a lot of MDF, so I'm not really sure.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Me gusta ese canal.
What does that mean? Se canada.
It means, hey, how you doing? I like your channel.
Muchas gracias.
Yes. Gracias, Edgar.
I like how you say his name differently, just because you're speaking Spanish.
You do, like. Well,
I guess you do. That makes sense. Okay.
Spanish in an English accent. That would be weird. I'd be like, gracias. It'd just be like
very true. I take your point.
Talking English.
I take your point.
All right. What else
all right.
Rich, just use spreadsheets to calculate savings when choosing a new electric plan.
Oh,
love it.
Nice.
Did I get rid of the old blue Avalanche? Effective. No, I did not.
Our niece used it yesterday.
Yeah.
My mom, when I talked to her today, she might be watching. Hi, Mom, because she said she watches all of our videos.
Oh.
Is it
what
still
up,
on?
Judy?
Yeah. she said that she saw like where so anyway, our niece graduated this year, and so since there's no graduation ceremony because of COVID, their neighborhood, all of the graduating seniors, they did a little parade and like through the neighborhood and waved at everybody, and they wore their cap and gown. It was really nice. And Bella borrowed the truck.
Yeah.
And so Big Blue had a moment of glory. It was like all decked out and decorated.
That was even school colors.
Oh yeah, you're right. Centennial School. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like blue.
But my mom was
balloons
like, I thought you got rid of that truck. Like you would think that, wouldn't you? Because we bought a new truck, but no, it's been sitting there. And now's a horrible time to smell a used car. So not smell it, but sell it.
Edgar's got a small space in the shop.
Oh, did you see that Jeff?
Yeah, that's I already talked to him.
Nicked him. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I missed that part. Okay, continue on.
Yes. All right. What do we got here? Literally building a media center right now. Liam Spires, inspired by the sideboard design. That's awesome, man.
Cool. That's great.
I love the sideboard, man. The sideboard is. Well, you know what?
I'm laughing at something else. Sorry.
You like that thing?
No, I see it every time I'm working. It's right in front of me.
It is. Yeah. But I think my new favorite project is the modern desk.
Really? Replacing the sideboard.
And we got to change it up. Plus, it's all walnut.
It is all walnut.
And it's got the epoxy design. That design is super cool.
That is really nice. Mm-hmm.
The miter, the waterfall edge on the top. I mean, come on. It's
very slick. Okay, wow. It is really good.
I'm going there.
I like how Jeremy Hill said, I think the magic eraser might actually be magic. I mean,
Jeremy Hill, what's up, my man? Is this Jeremy Hill? You're not, I don't know if you got two accounts. I would assume you had the Jericho Home account there.
Oh.
J Hill, what is up?
Fred wants to know.
Shout out to Jeremy Hill.
Shout out.
Longest patron of them all.
Oh, cool. Fred would like to know, how are you liking the Craig Adaptive Cutting System? That sounds like a very formal name. Is there like an acronym for it or no?
ACS.
There we go. I figured there would be.
Fred, I like it. I like it.
Which one's the ACS?
The table.
With
the holes.
Yeah, it's very handy.
It's great for. It's like for me. So it's different. I think it would be awesome for somebody who doesn't want to spend the money on a table saw or who needs mobility. I think it'd be fantastic because it's like the MFT and you can travel with it. For me, I don't have a spot to dedicate to have it set up, so I store it over there. And when I do use it, it's awesome for ripping, like straight lining stuff. So like ripping the edges off of slabs. Yeah. If I'm doing plywood cuts that are larger than I want to do with my table saw, I don't have it set up the right way. It would be really great for breaking down plywood, at least doing cross cuts, but you would need extra outfeed for that, and I don't have it set up, so I don't use it very well that way. But I do like it. It's got the stops on it, so it makes quick cuts. The thing I use it for most is because I used it when I made the what did I make, the volleyball thing for
we had a neighbor whose daughter is a volleyball player, and it was it's
just like a big piece of plywood. It's like a 4x4 sheet of plywood.
So she could like serve and it would bounce back to her.
And I had to make cuts on it that were angled cuts down the side that was 20, 30 inches long. And I just put it in there, turned it, put it down.
Fast.
It was
awesome.
awesome.
Done so quick. I mean, it was pretty simple, but
still. So yes, I do like it. I do like it. The only reason I don't use it more is because I've got the full size table saw. Like to me, it's a trade-off. I would use that a ton if I had to do a job on site somewhere. I'd throw that in the back of the truck and I'd be good. And I could make, you can do almost all the cuts, if not all the cuts. It's got all kinds of different attachments and stuff for angles and repeatable cuts. But yeah, I like it. I need to get I think I need to get a new strip because I've been wearing out the strip from cutting so much on it. But yeah, it's a good little setup. I dig it. It's way better than. The thing I love the most about it is just the dust collection that goes on to the track saw. Because I always used to do my stuff with just a circular saw. And my gosh, cutting with a you remember how many times you just held I'd be like, here, hold this, and she'd hold the dust.
And then there'd be jokes in the comments. They'd be like, oh, I like the whole dust collection system. What was that project?
It was when
I was teaching because I was still wearing like my teaching up. I was like really fancy.
It was the waterfall river table. I was like cutting down it, and she was like going next to the circular saw, like with the dust.
That's right.
Ridiculous.
That's right. Yes. So Lipinski24 wants to know what's a good outdoor sealer to put over stain for furniture. What do you think? Would you use Total Boat or no? Would you not put that over stain?
I don't like using stain a lot. I like using clear.
So you're saying if the stain
finish.
is already on there, you wouldn't have done that to begin with?
It depends because it'll change the color a little bit. But I do really like the I like this Gleam, and their other one is
Total Boat has the best names.
They're the funniest names. But this
it's fun. It's
by Total Boat. This one's great. It's marine spar finish. I used to use Minwax Helmsman, and that stuff stinks, man. Don't use that.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Don't use that.
It fails within the first year.
Oh man,
this
that's
stuff's
bad.
been doing nice. I've got it on a couple pieces. You're still gonna need. You should update outdoor furniture every year anyway.
It's timely.
Unless you don't, then you can make a video about it.
Right, which is what we're about to do.
But I do like the Total Boat outdoor products. They are nice. I mean, the Helmsman, like if you really want to stay on top of it, but if it's exposed to direct weather, forget it. Forget about it. You're toast. All of our stuff is covered on a covered deck in the back. All the stuff that I've built, it gets side rain and sun.
Yeah.
But it's not like 100% exposed all the time.
It gets it a little bit.
And some of the stuff in the middle doesn't get
But
it.
If it was in direct sun,
it's
we
held
say
up.
this all the time. That would
It's
be a
held
lot
up
harder.
awesome.
Yeah. So planer versus joiner. We get this question a lot too from Daniel. Which one should you buy first?
Planer.
We should have an article on that. I feel like that is a common question.
Big Willie, yeah.
Big Willie. I like this.
Which
Big
is funny
Willie
because
said,
I'm very allergic to walnut.
Give them a frame of reference. He said, "Oh, you're allergic to nuts, and you're working with walnut doesn't mess with you." Take it away.
Well, I think it's the.
It's the oil in the nut, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I was just about to say before you cut me off.
Sorry, I just knew the answer because I care about you. And I don't want you to die.
But it's what's so odd, though, is that is completely reverse to peanuts.
What do you mean?
Because like when stuff is cooked in peanut oil.
If it's refined peanut oil, that's what it is. That's what I've heard. Is that the refined peanut oil?
Make sure that it has pinky out.
Well, it's because like when Cole was little, our oldest, we thought he had a peanut allergy, or maybe he did when he was little, and then there was a whole thing, and then he got tested at 5, and it turns out he didn't have it anymore, but our daughter did. But I was worried about giving him Chick-fil-A for so long because they cook everything in peanut oil, but it's fine because it's refined peanut oil. But if you have some lowbrow peanut oil,
so refined,
it might not be good. So anyway,
Tyler, halfway through the flip top, I love it.
All right,
it's
awesome.
Fantastic. Where Garrett, I did not read that article. I'll be quite honest with you. I saw the title and I thought, well, there you go.
There you go. That's all you need right there. Do you have any recommendations on cabinet table saw that runs on 120 volts? I've got the rigid contractors saw right now and want to upgrade.
Matthew, what's up, my man?
Hey.
I don't is the short answer because I've not used them. There's a lot of hybrids out there, which is a hybrid between a cabinet saw and a contractor saw. Yeah. And the difference there, I believe, is that the trunnions are mounted to the top. That's the main difference between a cabinet saw and a contractor saw, if you didn't know. In cabinet saws, the trunnion, which is the mechanical piece that holds the actual motor and the blade and the arbor, or it doesn't hold the motor, it holds the arbor and the blade. So when you're tilting and lowering your blade, that's all done through the trunnion mechanism. Mm-hmm. Having it attached to the table is more accurate and it stays versus having it attached to the base, because when it's attached to the base, it can kind of move around more than when it's attached to like the cast iron top. So a hybrid does it the other way, and then I don't know why it's a hybrid. I have no idea. But check into the hybrids because most of those are 110 or 120. And I know SawStop does a 1.75 horsepower, which runs off 120. That's about the only other one honestly that I know that a lot of people have used is that one. That's super expensive too. Oh,
Rolf wants to know if we use SketchUp or something else. We use SketchUp, or he uses SketchUp. I just watch him and I'm impressed.
Yes,
it's very impressive.
Yeah.
And then Offcut Addict is still here. He said he's going to get your plans and do a hybrid flip top bench with his designs from Fisher's as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 questions. We are not in Houston. We are in Nashville, and
Where's
yes, and Chris, yes, it was Centennial.
Yeah, I posted that
down in Franklin.
Yep.
See, Edgar, me gusta sus canteras.
Oh yeah, I approve this comment so you could read it.
That's way too deep for me, Edgar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to keep it like second grade level Spanish. Maybe first.
Lo siento, yo aprendo español un pequeño ahora.
That's all I know.
Un poquito.
And un momento, por favor.
I got about 25% of what you said, and that's not enough to know what you said.
All right, Michael wants to know, what's the best brand of clamps?
Okay, what did you say?
I said, what is the best brand of clamps? I think that's doesn't it depend on the type of clamps? Or no? Is there just...
I was like searching my brain for any brands that would work well with that, but I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't.
Too bad. So sad.
Yeah. No.
You're ridiculous.
I know.
It's not that funny.
I'm sorry. I
best brand of clamps.
We might need to end this one early. The best brand of clamps, Michael. It depends on what you're looking for. I prefer the jet parallel clamps for most all other clamps.
You use this a lot.
I like Bessie. Bessie makes great clamps. And then for like face clamps, stuff like that, I use Craig. So those are my three main ones: Craig, Bessie, and Jet.
What about Irwin? Do you use Irwin too, or no?
Irwin does the squeeze clamps. Squeeze clamps are great.
Like you don't use this as often, but when you need them.
No, but a squeeze clamp is a great clamp.
Very important.
What? That would be the squeeze clamp.
We're moving on. What do you think about saving up and getting the power supply needed for a table saw, compressor, and dust collection?
Saving up and getting the power supply needed.
What do you think about saving up?
Matt.
Do it.
Is this Matt Happel?
It says make it happen at Make It Happen. Love that, by the way.
Is this Matt Happel?
Love a good pun.
From DG? Because if it is, what is that?
Oh, you know from Dollar General?
Potentially. I knew him at Happel, and he was a woodworker, so I'm going with it.
All right. Making it happen.
Making it happen. I think the underlying question there is, or not the underlying question, but the underlying goal is that you can run your table saw, your dust collector, like run multiple things. Because I used to be there. I used to run my dust collector and my table saw off the same 15-inch circuit. Not good. And I had it die before. So if you're doing that and then you get down and you're getting something really gnarly, or your blade starts, the wood starts pinching the blade, what will happen is that your amp draw will spike as the motor tries to overcome the resistance, and then bam, your power goes out. And worst case scenario, which I've had as well, is that the lights are also on that circuit. So all of a sudden, lights go out, saw turns off, but it's still running, spinning down. That is not
When did
good.
This happen?
Don't worry about it. When we first moved in.
What?
Because I hadn't, actually in the basement of the other shop too. But I've had that happen.
You have all your fingers still.
I do have all the fingers.
Good.
And I would highly recommend that.
The saw stop finger sensor thing still work if the power's out but the blade is running?
That's a great question. I would say
it's a great question.
I would say no. I mean, it has to have the electronics.
But we have all the
to
electric
do the
that
sensing.
we need now, so that's not going to happen.
Unless, that is a wonderful question.
When is the last time that happened?
Oh, never in here, because I've done what Matt was saying.
This is why I was like totally fine with him spending the money on the saw stop.
So I updated the power in my old shop as well as this one with a sub panel and a 60. You don't need a ton. It was like a 60 amp breaker. Using 220, I mean, I'd highly recommend it. I think it is for sure worthwhile, because then you can also, and if you don't have 220, 240, whatever. I hate it that like it used to be 110 and 220. Then it was
I like how you're telling me this. It was
115
like I know.
and 230 for like half a minute, and now it's 120 and 240. It makes no sense. I mean, I'm sure it makes complete sense.
You're so funny.
It may even be 125 and 250 now.
Does this keep you up at night?
Only when people talk about it. But yes, 100%. Because when you can get to 220, I'm just going to say 220, then you can get more powerful machines like 3 horsepower. Basically, that's the breaking point. You can still get...
Because when we upgraded the electric in here,
2 horsepower,
we were kind of
that's
like
when
planning ahead.
You might be able to run a 2 horsepower motor off 110, maybe. I know you can do 1.75. I know you can't do 3 horsepower. So like that's typically that breaking point when you start getting into 3 horsepower. And now I've got a 5 horsepower table saw, 3 horsepower dust collector, 2 horsepower joiner, and those are my 3 machines that run off 240. So back to your question though, 100%, because being able to know for a fact that you're not going to blow a breaker, and being able, like I'll run the air cleaner, obviously the lights, the air cleaner, the dust collector, the table saw, and a shop vac, because sometimes I'll plug a shop vac up to catch extra dust that's coming off crazy.
Because he hates dust.
Because I hate dust. And it's still cool because I've got it all on different breakers, and that's a huge, huge benefit.
I'm looking for Jack's question. Sorry. He sent me back in the chat.
He says, hey, yeah. No, he just said, hey.
I don't know where it is.
Just ask it again.
Jack, ask your question again. I scrolled back. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was going to say, Bob D says he's just getting started building his own wood shop and haven't done anything with woodworking for 30 years. And when he was in junior high in Bozeman, Montana. Wanted to say, Pete, where does Pete live?
Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman, Montana. If you don't follow DIY Pete, you should.
Junior high in Bozeman.
Maybe he doesn't live there anymore, but maybe he has some affinity to the area, and he would like to follow Pete.
Yeah.
Pete's a really nice
guy. DIY
Pete.
He's
awesome.
He's awesome.
He does a lot of good stuff. We've got a super chat thing.
From Steven Hockbaum.
Steve Hockbaum. Any other skills you would like to improve on?
All of them.
Being more efficient with our time. It's so hard. All of them. I love it.
I've been doing some welding recently, and I've enjoyed that. I like working with metal, so I would like to improve that. I'll stick to the making side of it, and the designing. I want to get back into designing. I've got the chops. I've got the know-how. I just need to get the repetition of doing more 3D in CAD design, so for the CNC, and I'm using 3D printer now. So I want to get good on Fusion 360. That's a software program. Most people are familiar with SketchUp. Fusion 360 is like SketchUp on steroids, and you can do a lot more cool things with it, and design parts that you can then 3D print or use the CNC. You can do it kind of on SketchUp, but you need other things. Fusion 360 is a lot more powerful. So that, and then what was the last one I was just going to say?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It
was on the tip of my tongue, and I just lost it. But those would be the big ones. Electronics, and getting better at coding electronics for Arduino, Raspberry Pi type stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that's interesting me right now.
Yes, you're very.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Steve.
Thanks. Okay, so G-Man wants to know, looking into getting a 3 horsepower cabinet saw stop pretty soon. How do you like it?
Don't have one. I've got the 5, and it's awesome.
He loves it.
But the 3 is it's middle brother, not its baby brother.
Right.
But I am impressed with SawStop, with their quality as well as their customer service. Their customer service is excellent. Very, very good, or at least it was 6 years ago when I used it.
Which is good.
They're great, and yes, I think
they were
it's
really
worth
good
it.
when you were renovating. I wanted to tell you, I love this.
All right, sorry.
Worth effort. You asked me such a great question that I have no response to. Susan, is there a genre of woodworking you'd wish Brad would investigate? Seam bending, Art Deco, staked furniture. I don't know.
She's like, I have no idea what any of those are.
They all sound awesome. Check them all out. What is a staked furniture? Do you know?
I believe it's.
Do we just use stakes to build furniture? I don't know. I want to know more.
That chair,
I need to do some research to answer that
I think
question.
The staked furniture is
I just want him to build me pretty things.
Yeah.
Can you do that? You can do that.
I can.
Or just things that we'll use.
Yes. Bill.
Yes.
Do the kids like woodworking?
They kind of.
At times.
Tyler, our middle guy, is the
Travis
most
Porter,
interested in building things.
Yes.
But he's just creative guy, so it's up his alley. But their attention span is pretty short when it comes to woodworking right now.
It is.
Yeah.
Edgar says he does not speak English, but he watches my videos. Gracias, Edgar.
Welcome, Edgar.
Let's see here.
Hello from Florida.
Matthew Phillip started there 2 years ago. Just established the LLC. That's fantastic, man.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I love seeing the comments back here too, and a lot of people are talking about what their favorites
giving
are.
recommendations.
Giving
Yeah.
recommendations.
Yep.
That's me. Make it happen. That's awesome, Matt. Dude,
Oh,
good
awesome.
to see you, dude. Hope everything is going well at the DG.
I would think they're doing really well.
I'm sure
Selling
their
all the
sales are
stuff.
like insane.
Yeah.
What welding do I do? Flux core or gas? Rick, I use shielded gas MIG. So I have a tank with the 75-25 argon CO2 mix. CO2 argon, I guess. It's so much better. Like the flux, flux just splatters everywhere. And so the shielded is a lot cleaner, and I decided just to do that and not do the flux core.
All right. Well, Urtkash Shohan says hi from India.
All right. What's up?
Love from India. Sorry.
Love from India.
Is there a good way to do a miter spline on a miter saw? Did you answer that?
I'm sorry, what? I was reading Taylor's.
Bill Builds wants to know, is there a good way to do a miter spline on a miter saw?
Yeah, you could. You can only do it. It has to be. You have to have a sliding miter saw, and you could only do it for the length of cut you have. So just like the same way you can cut dados with a miter saw, same idea. You would just set it to the 45 degrees, have your miter going this way, set it that way, cut your joint there, and you'd have to make some marks and figure it out, because the issue would be making sure everything lined up properly. Because you don't have that fence to rest it on, you'd have to get some kind of stop block to make sure you're lining everything up the same way each time.
All right, go back to G-Man. Jeremy Spiss says he has the three horsepower saw stop, and it is great. So there you go.
It's great.
You heard it here first.
Giovanni, any recommendations on a sealer to keep cut off from a Christmas tree fresh?
Sorry, where's this? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
That'd be awesome.
Anchor seal.
Anchor seal?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah. What is the cheapest planer I would recommend? Riley.
Cheapest planer. Well, I mean, like,
honestly,
I feel like normally,
go ahead.
You answer.
No, you answer.
I would say my Brad answer on this one.
She's heard me answer all these questions
so many times.
What
was that?
That was my foot. Sorry.
Okay, just checking.
Just the stop.
I would say that Brad would not send you to like a cheap planer, because you're not going to like it over time, and it's not going to work as well as you would want it to. Instead, he would tell you to look at Craigslist for a quality planer that is being sold used that you could buy. Like, that's how he got his saw stop. And then that would be a much better investment over time, or just get a really good sale on a nice planer. But probably Craigslist, or there's another site they can use, maybe.
Kijiji.
Right? There you go.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
I think Kijiji's like international or something like that. But anyway.
Was that right?
No, you were not right.
What?
You were right for almost anything but a planer.
What? I'm sorry.
Here's the thing with planers.
I did not know.
I know.
What?
You've heard, when I say this, you may remember, you may recall. A planer, it's really weird. I don't know why. But a planer is one of those tools that I just have never really heard of one that people are just like hate it and it's a piece of junk.
What?
I just like almost all planers are like I don't know. I've not used a ton, but I feel like almost all planers are because they're so simple that there's not much going on with them. I mean, you're gonna get sniped and like if you can get it set up like I don't know. There's a video out there, some videos like on the Win brand, WEN. I don't know if I would recommend that one. So my answer goes down, like I know a lot of people that love the Ryobi planer, and they haven't made it for a decade at least, but people who have it, they love it. It works great. And like the old, like DeWalt one, so if you're like, okay, I've got money and I can get one of these or not get anything, I would say get one of those, because it's not going to be something where you're like, oh my God, I can't stand this. It's more like I need to upgrade someday, but that it's better than not having one. I can't say that for a benchtop joiner.
Well, I did not know.
Or a cheap joiner. I know it's one of the few. It's one of the few.
Jeremy says if you go for a DeWalt 734.
That's the cheaper DeWalt.
But people were backing me up here. Grandma always, so Andrew Levis says, Grandma always used to say, cheap is expensive.
That's true.
And then also, buy once, cry once.
I agree with those. I do agree with those.
But I didn't know.
But
like,
for a
I
planer,
don't remember that. Like, planers
my point is
okay.
that they're not, like the things that you're going to, okay, so let's dig in for just a minute and then we're going to go. Let's dig in. Let's get your hands dirty on this one.
Get hands dirty.
So a cheap planer will have 2 blades versus 3 blades. A cheap planer will have a single speed versus 2 speeds. And let's just compare the 734. So DeWalt 734, DeWalt 735. DeWalt 735 is like that chunky little dude. It's got the 4 posters on it. It's like kind of like the gold standard of, even though that's trademarked by Powermatic, so let's not use that. It's the yellow standard. It's the yellow standard of planers. That's what most people think of it as, like a high-end machine, even though now...
By the way, feedback, people are loving their rigid planners.
Rigid planners,
love their rigid planners.
Exactly.
You had a rigid planner for a long time.
Still got it. The new jet planer has now a segmented head. So the difference on a planer is, like, as you start stepping up, you just start getting nicer and better things in the planer, but a 2-blade planer with a single speed and a self-locking head, like the rigid planer, like the one I used to have or used to use a lot, had all those things, and you had to lock the head yourself. A lot of these other ones are self-locking, so once you adjust it, you don't have to do anything.
So it's like easier to use, but it still does what it's supposed to do.
That's right. It's not even...
It's just convenience.
That's right. A lot of it, it's convenience, and so you might get a little more snipe. You might have a little less power.
Well, and you have a video on how to reduce snipe.
I do.
Plugging that right
I
now.
do, as well as how to set up and maintain your planer. So if you need either of those, go check them out.
Well, my goodness, I had no idea. No idea.
If you don't know, now you know. 735 for $350. Woo! That's a good deal there, Jeremy.
Lots of feedback on planners right now.
I know. Everybody's loving the planners. Oh, there he goes. David Ford hates the Delta planer. Don't get a Delta.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Now it's what?
Screams when he
turns it on. It scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I would not buy anything Harbor Freight large machinery.
I mean, they're great for like little things, right?
Their pneumatics are very good. I like their pneumatics, Chicago Electric or Chicago Pneumatic. But I wouldn't recommend anything with a motor in it, personally. Like great for Allen keys and nitro gloves and lots of other stuff, but nothing with a motor.
Philip says that the new Wen has 3 blades and works really great. I needed one in an emergency, so I picked it up and it has surprised me.
There you go.
Yeah, somebody was emailing us about a Wen lately, right?
Yeah.
They want to know about the Wen.
MJK, thank you very much. Watching the modern desk build. Yeah, awesome.
Very cool.
What was Jack's question?
Jack wanted to see.
See your question. Oh, he was wondering about the base cabinets. I think
he wanted to see the base cabinets. I think.
Yeah, we can't move the camera, Jack, so we're not able to do that. But it's all there. Like if you go to the.
He said the next to you. I think that's that one.
Yeah, go to the 5. Like there's videos on all these, so you can see the entire build and the whole setup.
Yep.
The shop tour is also. So I've got plenty of videos out there for you to review that you can see all these cabinets in super detail. The shop tour would be a great one for an overview, but there's also builds for
and they're
all
also
of these.
In a bundle if you're interested. In making any version or any combination of these.
All right, fantastic. Great. Well, we are at past time.
We are past time.
This is awesome. I loved it. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we like it on the main channel. I have to figure out how to do this, but we're trying to figure out whether we want to do this on the main channel or the other one. The second channel, but we will be doing lives on one or the other. So please join us again next week. And until then, get out there, build something awesome in your shop this week, and have fun.
Thanks for joining us.
Stay safe.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.